Exactly. You know what? My relationship with my fiance has gotten a lot better because of Tarkov. Because now I tell her every single move that I make. You know, babe, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go sit down on the toilet right now. All right, I'm sitting. Okay, I'm flushing. You know, it's great.
You
Tarkov's
forgot
helped
to
my
tell her you're
relationship.
wiping.
Tell her I'm wiping. Yep, exactly. Every movement, just in case. You know, I learned.
Hey, she's a beauty. Hey, she's a beauty.
Welcome to Tarducks, a podcast for content creators to share their stories and experiences. And today I have a fellow Canadian. I have WilDez. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm super excited to be here.
Excellent. All right. Well, what I do normally is start off with 3 rapid questions just to get the juices flowing. So you
All
ready?
right, I'm ready.
All right. Favorite movie?
Am I allowed to say Kung Pao?
Absolutely.
I'll say Kung Pao. It's the
All
first
right.
one that comes up in my head.
All right. Favorite thing about Toronto?
Favorite thing about Toronto? I would say the multiculturalism. You want any type of food, think about it, you can go and get it.
Yep. All right. You can have a conversation with anyone in history. Where are you having that conversation and with who?
Um, this may not be the most perfect timing, but I would love to speak with Elon Musk. I just want to get in his head about just everything that he thinks about. He's a busy man, but if you could spare like some time with a coffee date with me, I would love that.
All right. There we go. So let's go. Who is WilDez? How would you
Well,
describe you?
I would describe myself as firstly WilDez, not Wilds or WilDezy, as a lot of people may have thought my name is spelled, which is
Funny.
understandable. I am a Canadian Filipino content creator, and I focus a lot on educational and comedic, self-deprecating humor style of content.
Perfect. All right. I got to ask, what is with Dr. Farts and the guy milking the cow video? Oh my God, they are hilarious.
Well, it's a little twofold, to be honest.
All right.
So, one is I like to have some sort of creative, punchy element to different things that go on the stream. We know streaming is like long form content, and it can get a little bit of the same thing over and over again. So, I thought, hey, why don't at the end of my raid or at certain parts of the raid, I have this guy that pops up and he says something, and people are gonna walk in and be like, what am I watching? So I do get that a lot. So my goal is at least once a stream, I want someone to come in and be like, WTF did I just walk into? Because that means I'm doing my job, and that few precious minutes gives me some time to use the bathroom, and I can just go do something real quick and I can come back.
Ah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Twofold.
Nice. And who is he? Where did he come from? How did you, you know? Or
I
is that a secret?
I mean, a magician shouldn't reveal his tricks, but you know what? Just for you guys here, exclusive. I'm going to reveal it. I found him on Fiverr.
Oh, no way.
He is a phenomenal Fiverr gig artist. I looked up like funny spokesperson. I had to write my whole script, and let me tell you, it's really difficult to write a script that flows and makes fun of yourself at the same time. So it was a lot of script writing, and this guy is phenomenal. He's
Oh
like
my God.
$20 for each video that I've made. So each of the
Wow.
videos I have like 4 of them, and they're
Yeah.
each $20 each. And even the we call him the SriLankin Cow King because for obvious reasons. He was also around like $20 as well. So
Oh
everything
my
is
gosh.
scripted by me. Everything is
Yeah.
making fun of me. And I think that they're so underrated. They definitely got way more than how
Oh
much I
my
paid for.
God. And that's in Canadian too.
20 American, so it's like 30
Oh,
Canadian.
okay.
I
So they're
know, maple
American.
syrup conversion.
Ah,
A little
damn
more
it.
expensive, but I know.
Yep.
I wish.
Awesome. Wow. Oh, I can't believe you revealed the secret. This is awesome. I got to move this to Patreon now. We'll split the difference.
Right here on the Tarducks podcast.
So, what's your first video gaming memories?
My first video gaming memories would probably have to be the major one would be playing RuneScape, the old 2004 edition, 2D web browser. That was where I did a lot of like RPG style, like long sessions of playing video games.
Yeah.
And that really got me into video games. And from there I went to like Diablo 2,
Yeah.
which really sucked me in and almost ruined my life for a few years, but I mean it was a good time. So
Yeah. Well, excellent. And now,
yeah.
what's your favorite all-time game?
I think my favorite all-time game would probably, am I allowed to say Escape from Tarkov?
Of course.
Okay. I honestly, there's a lot of games that really influenced me from my childhood, like Diablo 2, Halo 3,
Yeah.
RuneScape, Overwatch. And I feel like Tarkov sort of has pieces of all these elements, like RPG, shooter, survival, that really just, I don't know what it is. Usually I play a game for like a year and then I'm just bored of it and I never play it again.
Yeah.
But Tarkov, I'm coming in like 2.5, 3 years without getting bored. Like, I'm in love with the game. I'm addicted.
Yeah.
It's addictive.
It is. It's video game crack. It has ruined all games for me. My Steam library keeps growing, but I like, all right, let me play this. Nope. It's just, I don't know what it is. It just pulls you back.
Exactly. Nothing really hits the same. It doesn't make you feel that sense of spark or adrenaline. Like I'm looking for, I mean, if I could find a game like that,
Yeah.
like I would love to play it. But as of right now, Tarkov has just got a firm grip.
I call it a pucker factor.
it has a pucker factor. Many diamonds have been made.
Oh, all right. That is a classic line right there. I love that one. Oh my God. All right. So I understand you're getting married soon.
Yes,
You're
I
engaged at
am.
least. And
Yeah, it's a very small wedding, so
Yeah.
no one's invited. Sorry.
all right. That's okay.
But yeah, I'm so lucky that I've known my fiance. I was teaching in South Korea, and that's where I met her.
Oh, wow.
And then we were both from the same province. We were both from Ontario
Yeah.
here. So when we came back, we did some long distance, and then we moved in together. It's been like 7 years now, and she's been supporting me through all of my streaming journey.
Yeah.
So I decided, hey, you know what? She could be a permanent mod for me. So I
There we
proposed.
go.
There we go.
Awesome. Wow. And it's funny you say that. So many of the other, content creators I talk to, having a supportive spouse has been so huge for them to be being successful and just having the, just being able to do it, to pull it off.
Yeah, people don't realize the amount of behind the scenes, the extra effort, even if it's just being on social media, networking. Like there's so many hours. I would say maybe if I spend 20 hours streaming, I'm spending 20 hours editing TikToks, networking, just even tweaking settings.
Yeah.
And it's so much, and you need to have a supportive partner to be there, or else the relationship's really not going to work. There's no other way. You can't.
Yeah. Nope. That's true.
Mhm.
Cool. All right. So I recently just discovered ramen. I've missed out on this thing. My kids have been eating it. It's like, all right, well, I'm going to try it. And it's fantastic. Now I understand you're big into ramen.
Yes. In South Korea, ramen is a staple.
Yeah.
So when I was there, I ate a lot of ramen. and I didn't know that there was so many different types until I moved away from North America and Canada.
Yeah.
Because Canada, we have like Mr. Noodles, we have the top ramen, that kind of
Yeah.
really basic type of ramen. But when you go to Korea, there's so many different types of ramen and like Japanese ramen. Have you had Japanese ramen yet?
No, I've just had little plastic bags of it. I haven't even expanded out to like the
Oh,
restaurant stuff.
you need to. But don't fear. If
Okay.
you only have your instant ramen,
Yeah.
there's certain things that you could do, slice a little bit of ham, put it in there.
Oh, okay.
One thing that I love to do is just drop an egg in there and just let it sit and
Yeah.
soft boil. And that just adds a little bit more creaminess, a little bit more protein and filling to it. So mix it up, get a little crazy.
Yeah, like I said to my son was gaming the other day, and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna grab a ramen," and he goes, "Oh, why don't you put an egg in it?" It's like, "What? All right, cool."
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
so now,
the way.
I gotta give that a try. So now I understand. You shared a video with me that you're a dancer. Well, you first told me that you were a dancer, and immediately, because I have a couple of daughters, I thought, oh, he does recital dancing. But then you are a hip hop dancer, dude. That video is awesome. So what's the background there?
So the dance style is called sea walking. It originated as like a gang type of dancing called crip walking.
Yeah.
But it has evolved. Like, I'm not part of a gang.
Yeah.
I like to call it clown walking type of thing.
Yeah.
It really grew in the East Asian community around like early 2000s. And being a 15-year-old, I thought it was amazing. Like, I wanted to learn it.
Yeah.
And that's when I started my YouTube channel, like 2006 or something.
Oh, no
like a year
way.
after YouTube was made. And I was uploading videos and I was trying to learn how to dance. And I remember being in my garage, like doing these steps of dancing. And my mom like walks in to grab something from the freezer and she looks at me. She's like, "Oh, I wish our family had the DNA to know how to dance." And I'm like,
Oh.
"Thanks, mother." Thank you. But yeah, did it for like, I don't know, like all the way up to university. So like 5-6 years. I've done it on stream a couple of times. My bones are not what they used to be.
No.
But sometimes you might catch me doing a little bit of a sea walking on stream.
All right, that's awesome. See, I'm old enough where I remember when breakdancing first came into, everyone had their piece of cardboard, and being from Newfoundland, there was no breakdancing. First of all, it's just, it just didn't exist. But watching like, Breakin', Electric Boogaloo, and all those, that's where we had no YouTube back then. We had to rely on VHS movies we rented. So.
The breakdancing time, it was amazing. Like, I guess they have TikTok dancing now, so that's everyone still has rhythm.
Yeah.
So that's it. I can't keep up with the TikTok dances, so they got me there.
Yeah. Oh man. So I was going to ask you when you started streaming, but you started, a long time ago then. Again, well, I guess not really streaming. You created content back then. And did you start editing your videos too back then?
Sort of. Back then it was like plop it on Movie Maker.
Yeah.
And throw on some music and hopefully it syncs properly type of thing.
Yeah.
Nothing really crazy. I'm still not good at editing. It's really long and it's really tedious and I'm very impatient.
Yeah.
But I've done content creation for as long as I can remember. I remember watching footage of when I was a child, like home VHSs, and there was a picnic with my family and I was like 8 years old and I pick up the camera and I'm pretending to be like a news broadcaster, like, "Welcome everyone to the WilDez family picnic. I am your reporter WilDez." And I'm like, oh my goodness, I was doing this since I was a child.
Oh, that's awesome. So now when did you start streaming content, like gaming content?
I started in March 2017.
Yeah.
So that was when PUBG first came out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to be a PUBG streamer. Like, this is the content I want to make. Of course, when I started, I didn't know anything about like how to stream, what to stream. I
Yeah.
just did it because I just really wanted to stream PUBG.
Yeah.
And I remember I'm sitting there and my now fiance had a PC. She was playing whatever she was right next to me. And it was just me and then her on watching my stream. And I would look over every time I did something and be like, did you see that? See what I just did? So she was my first fan. And
Yeah.
I did that for a long time, streaming
Yeah.
to just myself.
Yeah. Oh my! Now, do you remember the first time a person who you didn't know came into chat and started, a conversation?
Yeah, actually, one of my current mods that I still know now, and we've met a few times in real life.
Yeah.
His name is William Suki. He came into my stream and he was like one of my very first donators. He donated $1.26,
Yeah.
and he said, "I want you to do a pistol only PUBG run." And I'm like, okay. To this day, still have never given that to him, and sometimes he reminds me. He never forgot.
Oh, that's too funny. So I guess that was your first sub then too, really.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really lucky that I still have people that I've met from those times
Yeah.
stick with me through all of it.
Yeah.
And when I see like the little founders sub badges, it just makes me so happy because these guys have been subbed for over 4 years now.
Yeah.
And they continue to support me. I've jumped game to game to game to game,
Mm-hmm.
and they're still here. So I'm really lucky. I have a supportive cast, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's the community that you built, and it sounds from the other people I've talked to, it's the same thing. Their first people who subbed them ended up being their mods, and they've been friends for years. Like Markstrom, he was telling me that his best man at his wedding was one of his first subs, and it's they just make. Yeah, it's just crazy, that community that you build, that you never, not IRL friends originally, but yeah, it's just a crazy concept.
Yeah, you really build connections with people that I feel like understand you on a level that is a little bit different than maybe people that you know in real
Yeah.
life. And it being the internet, maybe where we leave ourselves a little bit more vulnerable to like just talking about whatever and not worrying about how we're judged.
Yeah.
And those are the people that like you make connections with for the rest of your life. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, because like you talk to these strangers, they don't know you, so you can share some things that you may not share with, your guy you're hanging out with and having a beer with. It's really wild that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now you've transitioned, you've been through the transition of, going from game to game to game. Because often a lot of the, streamers, they start with one game and it's struggling they struggle to, to jump to a new game because there's that fear. It's like, nobody's going to come watch me play this game. I don't want them to see me struggle learning the new game. And, what's been your experience with those, transitions?
Well, I switch games probably every year and a half or so because playing the same game over and over again, it does get stale, and sometimes you yearn for like something else.
Yeah.
To really just give you that spark again and make you want to stream again. Every time I've swapped, I've lost about 50% of my viewership, which is a massive hit.
Oh yeah.
I've been really lucky because my day job and my career lets me have that financial stability that I can afford to risk switching games.
Yeah.
And I've told myself since I started streaming, like at the end of the day, I'm going to do things that make me happy. And if the game isn't making me happy, then it's not really worth it for me to keep streaming it because then like they notice I'm not enjoying myself. I'm not enjoying myself. And it sort of puts a sour taste in your mouth. So I've been really lucky that I've been streaming Tarkov for almost double my second highest game, almost like 2,500 hours or something like that. And I still have not lost a spark, and I'm just loving every single time I play still.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. What would be your second largest game you've streamed? Would it be PUBG or Diablo?
My second most streamed game would actually be Dead by Daylight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's definitely not similar to Tarkov,
Yeah.
but it is a survival-esque game. And I don't know, I played Fortnite as well for a really long time.
Yeah.
After PUBG, like that was my natural like jump when Fortnite was huge.
Yeah.
And then after, there was too many people playing it, I swapped to
Mm-hmm.
Dead by Daylight, and Dead by Daylight was my game for a really long time until I feel like there was like a skill cap almost
Yeah.
that I reached a certain level. I was satisfied with it. It sort of got boring and I couldn't really make content out of it. The community itself, I'm not going to say anything about the community, but I
Yeah.
just didn't have my place in it.
Mm-hmm.
So once I got to Escape from Tarkov, it had the community that I loved. It had a skill ceiling that is almost infinitely high that I know I'll probably never reach.
Yeah.
So it always makes me want to get better. Um, and yeah, I think that it's I don't know. It just brought me to a place here where I feel like I'm settled and I
And
and
you're
I feel
happy.
like I belong.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah.
It's funny you say this. That's where you feel you belong. I was just having Spooky Squirrel on a pod earlier this week, and she said the exact same thing. When she found Tarkov, it was finding a family, the finding the community, and it's so true. I think it's so true that I've everybody who I've dealt with has just been fantastic.
Yeah, and like Spooky Squirrel is amazing. There's like I could just list off people that I just love interacting with on whether it's on Twitter
Yeah.
or on TikTok or on Twitch. Like there's so many people that just support each other,
Yeah.
and seeing that type of support, like it almost feels like you're going to a house party and
Yeah.
there's all these little pockets of friends that you go to each one of them and you're like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Yo? Like it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah, it's Toast Rack describes it as like when he's wrapping up his stream, he's like, "Yeah, and I'm going to raid somebody. It's like going to a party. I'm popping in and bringing all my friends in with, going to raid this guy, and then it's a party for a few minutes, and he hangs out and then he disconnects. But it's a cool way to describe it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So now, what have you found to be the toughest thing, trying to be this content creator and streaming?
Um, well, apart from doing this, uh, with a full-time job,
Yeah.
it gets very tiring and I sacrifice a lot of other things in my life and in my day. Like my IRL social life is almost non-existent.
Yeah.
My fiance is definitely super supportive, but I would definitely spend more time with her if I had the opportunity to.
Yeah.
Um, and being me as someone who has a lot of general anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
putting myself out there is so difficult. And I found out that one of my biggest growth methods, I guess you could say, is putting myself out there and being on things that maybe you wouldn't normally be on, like applying for tournaments,
Yeah.
speaking in chat to people that maybe you wouldn't think would actually want to talk back,
Yeah.
being on amazing podcasts like this one. Like putting yourself out there is so important as a content creator. So
Yeah.
take the risk. You got to
Yeah.
take the risk.
That goes into what I was just going to ask you. What advice would you have right there? Take that risk. What do you
Take
got to
that
lose?
risk. Yep. Take that leap of faith. You have to try everything
Yeah.
and you have to consistently try everything.
Yeah.
So you can't just one off try something and then if it works, then you're like, I'm good. I can coast now. No,
Yeah.
that's when you have to work even harder to switch it up. And that's why I do so many different things on my stream and TikTok, because the consistency and like it's a grind, man. It's
Yeah.
such a grind, but it's worth
Yeah.
it.
Well, it's another person said, if you're starting out, it's just you. Nobody. If you mess up, nobody's watching. That's your time to sort out the bugs and get it going. If you make a misstep, who cares? You just keep going.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
the beginning is when you can really and when you should honestly you should be the most critical of yourself, because you should be checking your audio, you should be checking your video, you should be checking different ways to improve your stream personality, I guess,
Yeah.
or things like that. And I've said this before, like when you first start streaming, you're not talking to anybody. You're just talking to yourself. So learn how to talk to yourself, because when you're a big streamer, chat's going to be moving so fast, you're not going to be able to talk to everyone. So
Yeah.
you're going to have to learn to talk to yourself. So it's going to be a cycle. So when you're a small streamer, just act like you're a big one, because that's
Yeah.
going to be the same thing.
How hard is that to adapt to seeing, having your chat go from a couple of people to 100, a couple of thousand people? How do you keep up with that? Or do you rely on your mods to sort of flag, so, hey, Will, here, here's something you should talk to, or anything like that?
Well, very I really appreciate the kind words, but I don't have 1,000 people in my chat yet.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. I'm practicing. But when it does get busy, like I'm so lucky that I have a strong network of friends and colleagues that we support each other, we rate each other. So it does get busy.
Yeah.
It's impossible to really keep track of all the chat if it's going a little bit too fast, especially when you're playing Tarkov.
Yes.
Tarkov commands most of your focus anyways.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky I also have my mods there to kind of, keep the flow going. Most of the people that are regulars in my stream know the flow of the stream.
Yeah.
And I've learned to just be as entertaining as I could without the chat as I
Yeah.
am with the chat. So
All right, cool. Where did the comedic side of your stream come from? Is that just you naturally? You just a joke guy, a funny guy in in IRL, and that's it just carries through to your stream?
yeah, I would say I'm a goofball. I really like immature style self-deprecating humor. Almost like over the top.
Yeah.
I remember one of my favorite movies, if I had a little bit more time to think about it, would have to be like Liar Liar with
Yeah.
Jim Carrey.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jim Carrey's style of comedy is like exactly what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was young, I was on this career website and I was like searching up how much do comedians make. And they're like anywhere between $1 and $1 million. I'm like, this doesn't help me at all. So I decided my only other way, maybe I could be a comedian on the internet.
Yeah.
So this is like my way of sort of letting out that like comedic energy and creativity
Yeah.
in a way that really fits with my personality.
Well, it works, man. It's
Thank
it
you.
is some of the stuff is so funny. Like when you and Vaughn were doing the Tarkov Police. Oh my God. And coming across a couple of guys that sort of played along with it, it went so awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of risk.
Yeah.
And definitely a lot of things that maybe you have ideas for will not work.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to try everything, right? You have to
Absolutely.
just try it, see what happens, and you never know. Maybe you're gonna strike some gold and make some people laugh, and at the end of the day,
Yeah.
that's all you want, right?
Oh, at the end of that clip where you guys start throwing stuff down and the other guy just shoots the it's like, oh my God. That was you could have asked for a better ending on that one.
Exactly. You can't script that kind of stuff. It's amazing. People,
Yeah.
some people are just, it caught us off guard. You
Yeah.
have to roll with the punches,
Yeah.
and that's where sometimes just letting things like that happen and let it play out is just the best thing you could do.
Yeah. Now, did you guys have some sort of a game plan how to do this, or like, okay, let's, you pull each other aside, like walk away from just like a real cop show, and or to just, see to your pants?
I'm really lucky because Vaughn is a phenomenal content creator. Like
Yeah.
him, like Ash, like us three, like we love that kind of content.
Yeah.
And I just told Vaughn one day, I've always had these ideas in my mind, like when VoiP comes, we could do so many things. Like I want to be a gas station cashier. I want to be a police officer. I want to like bark at people like randomly.
Yeah.
And I had the idea cooking up for a while of like, what if we were like police officers? I just got a Go XLR, so I was playing around with some of the voices.
Yeah.
And I told Vaughn, I'm like, okay, we're gonna be police officers. And he's like, okay. And we sort of just improv the whole thing. Luckily, I guess he's watched a lot of cop shows because
Yeah.
he did a great job. And he honestly, without him, like the flow wouldn't be as good as it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's because he's spent time like in the Air Force.
Yeah.
So maybe he has a little bit of more insight than me because I don't go out. So
Yeah.
but yeah, he was great. He did most of it. I was just there tagging along with his ride.
Oh, it was, yeah, it's just you guys played that so well. And yeah, as a solo person, I don't know how that could have went, but with two of you, it's just like good cop, bad cop, you know, let's have that side conversation and go back to him. Oh, yeah, it was genius. It was one
Yeah,
of the funnier moments.
yeah, and purposefully doing it off of VoIP so that they could overhear us
Yeah.
talking just added that little bit of extra comedic element to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I always made sure to have my POV shifted a little bit with the person in the background.
Yeah.
So you can see what he's doing while we're talking and how they're reacting to what we say.
Yeah.
It's just things like that. Like I'm always thinking about how it would look while we're editing it. So
Right. Yeah.
it turned out really well. I'm very proud of it.
Oh, you should be. It's awesome.
Thank you.
So now, how was your path to Escape from Tarkov? How did you hear about it? What made you, let's jump into this game?
Actually, I heard about it in 2017 when I was playing PUBG.
Yeah.
That's when I bought the game and I played it once and I had a horrible time. It was really buggy and
Yeah.
factory was just people just like PvPing and I'm just a dude with a pistol trying to figure out how to even work the 10,000 commands
Uh-huh.
and hotkeys. So I got rid of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to play this game anymore. I'm just gonna stick to PUBG. And my friend told me back then, he's like, okay, WilDez, you need to get bigger at streaming and have your own little niche thing. And I'm like, okay. And my friend's like business. He owned like he's part of a company that did like partnerships with developers and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So he's an amazing guy. I still know him to this day. Now he's like a big wig at a talent agency for content creators.
Mhm.
So he's like, all right, WilDez, you need to have your own niche. Okay. The way that you're gonna succeed is to be something like Shroud, except have your own niche. So Shroud is that guy who's really good at FPS.
Yeah.
What is your shtick gonna be? And I'm like, I have no idea. Like, that's one of the hardest things for a content creator to figure out. What
Yeah.
value are you gonna bring? What is your shtick? Why are people gonna stick around? He's like, okay. So here's what I think you should do. I think you should become really good at one game and be that guy for the game. Be that guy for a game like Escape from Tarkov. And you could be that guy that everyone, when they think of Escape from Tarkov, they think of you and they can talk to you about it. You're like a specialist of the game. And I think that's something that you can do to really succeed. And I look at him and I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do that. I just want to play PUBG, dude. I just want to have fun playing PUBG. So fast forward 3 years later, I'm playing Tarkov nonstop and I'm making like semi-educational content, trying to really embed myself in the community so that I could be one of those guys that he talked about 3 years ago. So
Yep.
he predicted the future.
Oh my Lord. So what's the hook for Tarkov to you? Is it, like you said earlier, is it the the RPG element of it, the looting aspect, the shooting? What is that one that makes you keep coming back?
I think honestly, it's the mix of everything together. It's the RNG of looting, the skill of FPS. I was really into CS:GO for a while as well.
Yeah.
So like the gunplay in Tarkov is so good that it almost makes every other shooter feel different, like sluggish or just not as crisp,
Yeah.
I guess. The survival element of it, and I honestly the difficulty. If this game was easier, I might have gotten more bored of it.
Yeah.
But because it's so difficult, and I was able to get over that difficulty hump,
Yeah.
it just makes it a lot more satisfying, and it feels like there's a lot of risk involved, which sometimes games, like when you're playing like Diablo 2 or something,
Hmm.
there's not really much risk involved. You die, you come back, you grab your stuff,
Right.
and then you just keep going.
Yeah.
Where Tarkov is like there's an element of risk and reward that you have to sort of play every single moment of the game
Yeah.
that really just keeps drawing me in.
Yeah, it's true. Like, to me, every raid is different. Like, I find something valuable. Now I got to get out. What path do I take? Or there's been raids where I've been engaged in another guy for probably 35 minutes, just cat and mouse. And then when you get out, it's just like you've gone through a workout mentally, or if you get shot and it's like, oh, it's brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, even when you lose a fight, if it's a good fight,
Yeah.
you just can't help but just enjoy it. You're like, that
Yeah.
was a good fight. You know what? I respect that. That was a
Yeah.
good play. Right?
Yeah.
Like it feels different because when you play this game, we're all going through the struggle bus of trying to survive.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I don't think there's as much room for toxicity because we're just all struggling anyways.
That's
And it's
true.
not really
Yeah.
a power dynamic.
Yeah.
Where in other games where someone's really, really good and someone's not really good, you could be a dude with a pistol that can totally just one tap someone without a face shield.
Yep.
So things can turn
Absolutely.
so fast that, yeah, I've noticed the community has been good in that sense, and usually
Yeah.
toxicity isn't really, um, it isn't real. There's not really a big place for it here. It's shut down pretty quickly.
It definitely seems that way, and I think part of that too is because it's an older group of people playing it. I think it's because you need that commitment, so you're not going to get the 13-year-olds, the 14-year-olds put that effort in. I don't think where they
Mhm.
can just go run and gun in the COD and whatnot, and I think that probably lends to why this game is less toxic. Don't get me wrong, there are toxic people in this community, but I think, like you said, they get shut down quickly, and it's a great community.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Yeah. So now when 12.12 dropped and you had VoIP, what was your first like? Were you like nervous about it, or were you excited about that we were going to actually have VoIP?
I was really excited. For me, someone who's not super PvP oriented,
Yeah.
I really wanted a next step towards my content creation.
Yeah.
And I thought that VoIP would fill that gap so well. And there's just endless possibilities of what you can do with VoIP. And so far, it's proven me right
Yeah.
that VoIP has been amazing. I haven't had too many bad encounters on VoIP, to be completely honest. I know some people do, and I feel
Yeah.
really bad for that. But I've been really lucky. I've been in a tournament with that friendly guy
Yeah.
where I could not bring in any weapons or gear, and I had to VoIP my way to extract and cooperation with other people. And I dressed up as this alien. I did the whole shebang, like I'm an alien from another planet. Like, bring me around. And it was so fun. It was one
Oh
of my
my
favorite
God.
tournaments I've been in.
Oh, yeah. I had him on there a while ago, and he was telling me about these tournaments, and so you did one. So it was a good
Yeah.
experience.
Oh, it was a great experience. I got betrayed so many times.
Oh, really?
But I also had so many experiences that were positive that it
Mhm.
just outweighed all the negative.
Yeah.
And I understand, like, Tarkov builds trust issues.
Oh,
We've gotten betrayed so many times that even if there's a guy that's not geared, like, you're like, I have no use for you anyway, so I'm just
Mhm.
gonna, goodbye.
yeah.
But how could
No.
they? I'm an alien.
Yeah. Why would they?
Why would they? I had
Oh.
secrets.
That's right. But you're right with Tarkov and trust issues. I've played with friends, and this game comes close to destroying some friendships because of trust. Hey, are you picking my kill? That type of thing. Hey, I thought this guy had a or a good helmet. Where is it? I don't know.
Yeah, even on VoIP with other people, like the one thing that I don't want to do is to be that guy to coax you into a false sense of security and then just like just off you without
Mhm.
any sort of warning. Like if I
Yeah.
say I'm like, I'm sorry, dude, you know what, you killed my friend, I'm gonna have to avenge him, nothing but GG's, like let's just fight it out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna warn you. I'm not gonna like be like, okay, let's just take the gear and leave together, and then I kill them. I feel
Oh,
kind of bad for doing stuff like that, and I understand why people do it. Um, but other than that, I think my teammates have a lot of trust issues with me. Not that I've ever team killed anyone, but I've been
yeah.
known that I've known to have some stray bullets hit their faces every once in a while. Totally not on purpose,
Hmm.
and totally never team killed them, but it's happened.
That is, that's another thing this game has shown us is how bad we are at communicating. You know, where are you? I'm over here. Where's there? To your left. No, that's where, you know? Oh, it's bad. We are bad
Yeah,
communicators.
exactly. You know what? My relationship with my fiance has gotten a lot better because of Tarkov. Because now I tell her every single move that I make. You know, babe, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go sit down on the toilet right now. All right, I'm sitting. Okay, I'm flushing. You know, it's great.
You
Tarkov's
forgot
helped
to
my
tell her you're
relationship.
wiping.
Tell her I'm wiping. Yep, exactly. Every movement, just in case. You know, I learned.
That's right. Oh, while we're talking about the community, I don't know if you saw somebody posted about peeing in the shower. And
Yes, Spooky
yes,
said that someone posted about it.
yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, like, she's kind of, I think, grossed out by the amount of us that may pee in the shower.
Well, you know what? I'm all for the environment, so I do my part
Mm-hmm.
by peeing in the shower.
Yes.
So sorry, Spooky, but you should if you love the environment. That's all I'm gonna say.
And gravity is there for a reason.
Exactly. You know
Yeah.
what? You might as well. You might as well. The water's running down. You know, liquids are flowing everywhere. You help out the environment a little bit. You don't got to flush. So I
We're all
don't see
helping out
nothing
Mother
wrong with it.
Nature. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. So now you're also a part of Team Evasion.
Yes.
So how did that happen? Well, first of all, why don't you tell us what evasion is, if in case somebody who's listening doesn't know?
Well, if you don't know what evasion is, it is one of the first tournament organizers in Escape from Tarkov. It's been around for a really long time. Co-founded by Sigma and many other phenomenal people that I have grown to know. Uh, my history with evasion has been when I told you that you really need to put yourself out there. That was the first tournament that I've ever applied for, and I was very nervous. And for some reason, I got in. Unfluffy Bunny called me Wild Easy. They called me Wild Easy for a while. They changed my name to that for a while. Um, but I've really grown to know many of the people there, uh, like Brian Boru, Garlem, and I think that I really found that those people were the type of people that I really wanted to, you know, become a community with and get to know. And every time there's an evasion tournament, I am super excited because I know it's going to be phenomenal. And I get to see my friends like on Fluffy Bunny casting. And it just feels like all of your friends are there and you're just all hanging out and cheering on all these great competitors. Um, and I think I got really lucky. I got approached to be on Evasion, and I had to say yes. You know, like
Yeah.
that's. I was so honored. I was taken aback. I'm like, is this real? Like, did they want me on the team? Like, I'm not a PvP player because back then they used to be more PvP oriented. Now
Yeah.
they're more like general content creation.
Yeah.
So I was really excited to see all the new people. And I know that Ash said he was excited to see me, but I'm like, oh, Ash is on here too. And I was like super pumped. I'm like, yes, let's go. Because him and I sort of grew up together in the
Yeah.
Tarkov scene. It was really nice to see him, and I'm really proud to be part of Team Evasion.
Awesome. Now, how did you find out? Or how did they reach out to you and say, hey, Will, do you want to come join us?
Yeah. I got approached by Garlem, and he said, "Will, listen, you're a handsome guy, okay? Let's just be real here." He said he actually said, like, how would you like to be part of Team Evasion? And I was like so confused. I'm like, oh, in what capacity? Right? Like I've learned to really try to cover all my bases, just not just jump into it. Um, but basically he thought that I was a good fit for the organization, and everything he was telling me was like whispering sweet nothings in my ear, and I just couldn't say no. I'm like, this is such an opportunity for me. Like, yes, I'll do it. And from then on, like, um, I've been really excited to be part of it because I get to see my name represented with Team Evasion on the website,
Yeah.
and I get to say that I'm Team Evasion. So when I play with people and they have the Evasion armband, I'm like, hey, nice armband. That's Team Evasion.
Yeah.
So it's really, really nice to be represented or to represent them.
Yeah. Well, they do wonderful things for the community. Sigma and Hotel are wonderful people, and they've just created such a fantastic atmosphere, and they're so good for the game.
Yeah, they really have. And like, they are a name in the community, and they've done so much for the community that it's it's even just like unfathomable to think that they saw me and saw someone that they wanted to fit into their community and
Yeah.
to represent the name for them. So
Yeah.
I'm really honored.
Oh, excellent. Now, speaking of community, you said you've played, you've been in other gaming communities, since streaming and whatnot. How does Tarkov's community compare to those that you've been in or been trying to you be a part of?
Um, I mean, I wasn't really in the Fortnite community because there was a majority that were not the same age as me. So like I didn't really resonate as well with 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
But the Dead by Daylight community was the first time I sort of tried to put myself out there a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh, it, for lack of a better term, it felt like there was a lot of groups that were
Hmm.
sort of, they had their people that they enjoyed and played with, and I wasn't able to really find my place there. Besides one or two friends that I would really like to hang out with in streams every once in a while.
Yeah.
With the Tarkov community, it felt like I could go into people's streams and say hi to the same people that I've seen in other streams.
Hmm.
Almost like we're all watching similar people. We recognize each other. There doesn't seem to be like a group or clique in
Yeah.
the Tarkov community. Um, I mean, some people say that there's like a labs group or labs community
Yeah.
where they're all labs gamers. But like other than that, there's not really that sort of clicky feeling
Yeah.
where you have to be part of like a group. You can just be part of the Tarkov community
Yeah.
in general.
Well, that's fantastic. That's very
Yeah.
true. So now, if you look back and since you started streaming, creating content, what's been the high point so far?
Um the high points would probably have to be the first time I ever got drops from Battle State and seeing my
Oh,
name on the website, and then having Battle State like follow me on Twitch
yeah.
while I was live doing it, and I got like over 800 people in the stream.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
it was phenomenal. Like, it was just so unreal. I only went for 12 hours because I don't have the endurance like some people do
Yeah.
to play for that long. But that was definitely one of the high points. Joining Team Evasion was 100% one of my most memorable moments.
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of it came from my time in Tarkov. Everything
Yeah.
else felt like it was giving me the skills and
Yeah.
giving me the tools to succeed in Tarkov,
Yeah.
in the Tarkov content creation sphere and everything. So, you know, I enjoyed my history, but I felt like it was almost like a preamble to what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. And now looking
Hmm.
forward to this year, what, is there anything on the radar that you have, as something you want to do or achieve this year?
Um, I always try to set goals for myself at the beginning of the year in terms
Yeah.
of numbers.
Yeah.
Uh, but I feel like I've grown a lot and I've gotten a lot of support in the past while that
Yeah.
I sh- the numbers don't really mean anything. I'm just trying to grow as much as I can and be consistent as much as I can.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have summer vacation soon, so I'm gonna have 2 months where I can just go full time and keep pushing that TikTok. Try to upload every single day, which is so difficult
Yeah.
creatively and time wise. But I mean, this is what I love to do, so I really want to push myself for it.
So are you focusing more these days on TikTok content versus content for YouTube, or is it still just trying to balance the two and create for both?
Um, I'm really lucky. I have one of my mods who does a bulk of my editing for YouTube.
Yeah.
I've mostly been focusing on TikTok content because it does involve a lot of editing. Each TikTok takes like 30 minutes to an hour to
Yeah.
edit, and I upload 5 a week.
Yeah.
So that alongside working full time and streaming as much as I do, I don't really have as much time for doing YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
So I've been really lucky. I've been getting help with that. And I want to do more YouTube, but I don't know if long form edited content is really my type of
Yeah.
niche or content.
And have you found the secret to TikTok yet?
I found things that work really well,
Yeah.
I would say. Uh, and I'm learning how to be a TikTok actor
Yeah.
because it definitely is a different type of acting. It's a lot punchier and a lot more over the top
Yeah.
because you try to hook people within the first couple seconds.
Yeah.
Um, there are some things like I've heard 8-second long TikToks work. Uh, but what I found that mixing it up between like really short ones and
Mhm.
also uh, making a story style TikTok.
Yeah.
So an example would be my TikTok's like 45 seconds long, but it's
Yeah.
like a viewer gave me a gun. Here's what I did with it, and here's all the different parts to it. I find that
Okay.
those do really well because it almost like hooks people every 8 seconds for 40
Yeah.
seconds.
Oh, jeepers.
So that's the type of editing style that I found really works.
Yeah.
You have to do enough cuts and tell a context piece of the story, I guess,
Yeah.
in snippets that still tells a story. It's hard. It's really
Oh,
hard.
but when one connects, it connects and blows up though, right?
Yeah, I've had TikToks that really blew up.
Yeah.
One of my most recent ones was me using a trending sound that says, "Bruh, I gotta poop." And it got like 87,000 views.
I don't understand.
If it resonates with people, then I guess it works.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh dear Lord. So back to Tarkov for a second. So who do you run with mainly? Or do you run solo or do you run with groups mainly?
Um, Usually at the beginning of the wipe, I run solo.
Yeah.
I do a lot of community things.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of community days. Uh, Towards the end of the wipe, I like to collaborate with as many different types of people as I can.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that great of a job reaching out to people because I still sometimes get the imposter syndrome of, oh, this person doesn't want to play with me, especially with people that are a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
It's really nerve-wracking to approach them, to be honest. But hopefully in the summer I'll get the courage and I'll approach some people and maybe you'll see me with some people to play with.
Awesome. But
Yeah.
you roll with Vaughn, and do you roll with Ash as well?
Yep. So I
Yeah.
play a lot with Vaughn. I play a lot with Ash. I play with vbreezy.
Yeah.
Um, I play with a lot of people. Most of the time, I play with people that are sort of mutuals in like my stream and their streams,
Yeah.
and that's usually who I play with. But
Yeah.
branching out is where I get a little bit nervous,
Yeah.
and especially someone that I've never played with before, or we don't really have mutuals.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that I still need to learn to step out of my comfort zone and approach them, I guess.
we're gonna get there with this, start of this podcast.
Yep.
There we go. Now,
There we go.
how did you end up meeting, coming across Ash and Vohn? Just in the community and seeing their streams?
Um, so Ash, I met in game
Yeah.
when I was playing. I remember he was in grandma's house on Shoreline with his friend, who he would stream with every day.
Yeah.
So, I got the best of him that time, but he came to my stream and he sort of was there ever since.
Yeah.
I remember when first watching him, he was like a little Tarkov streamer baby. He had a very small view count,
Yeah.
and he was like hustling so hard, and I would always come drop by his stream and watching him grow. I'm super proud of him. Like, he's one of my best buds that I've known in the
Yeah.
Tarkov community. And also Vaughn, my first evasion tournament, I actually was trying to drop by other people's streams.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who is this guy, Von Helsing? Why is he screaming so loud? And then for some reason it just kept me coming back. I don't know what it is. His personality, his energy was just like phenomenal. Like, both Vaughn and Ash have this energetic personality that I just get drawn to.
Yeah.
That I like to have in my stream too.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I fit really well with both of them.
Awesome. All right. So you get to pick the all-star squad for a 4-man that you're going to run with. Who's, anybody, the OGs or current, who's going to be on that? Who are you, the 3 guys or 3 girls or a mixture? Are you taking into a raid?
I think 1 and 2, I'd probably have to bring my left and right hand men, Vaughn and Ash.
All right.
I think we just have a great time together. And in a world where I can just ask anybody and they would want to come play with me,
they're coming. They're committed.
I'd say Aqua FPS.
All right.
He is that guy that he's just that relatable guy that you just want to see succeed. And sometimes he fails, or a lot of the time he might fail, but he just gets back up and he just keeps rolling with the punches. And I love that about him.
All right, there we go. I have a task. I'm going to try to get all 4 of you together. Well, Twitter pressure.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm down.
Awesome. All right. So when you stop streaming, you're not editing, you got a little bit of window. What is happening in that time? Hanging out with the fiance? You guys watching TV or going for hikes? What's that?
Yeah.
Going to the gym?
Yep. So I am an avid watcher of trash reality TV.
Oh no.
So I'm that guy that watches all of it. So that's my vice.
Yeah.
So I'm able to string her along and watch some of that with me. So usually I make sure that Friday night and Saturday I try to do as little stream related things as possible.
Yeah.
So that she has my full attention and we can just spend the day together. Unfortunately, it hasn't really worked out that way because we recently started going to the gym like 4 days a week and we spend like 2 hours at the gym.
Wow. Good for you guys.
Yeah, we realized that cardio is apparently important. So
it is. Once
we added an extra 20 minutes. Allegedly, cardio is good, so we started doing it. Luckily, it's just like a nice brisk walk, so it's not like that sprinting that I always associated with cardio.
Yeah.
So I just throw on some, something on Amazon Prime that I downloaded.
Yeah.
And I just have a nice time with it, just to go on a nice walk. But
nice.
So it's the gym and trash reality TV, and that's about my life. And my cats, which are not here.
What are their names?
Mochi and Kibo. I show them a lot on stream.
Yeah.
And my emotes are based off of them, so there's kind of like my mascots for the stream, and they're little Scottish fold kittens with little folded ears.
Yeah. Aww.
And yeah, they're a menace, but we love them.
Okay, cool. All right, content creators. Are there anybody who would you say people should go check out?
Um, I mean, a
And,
lot
like,
of the content creators you've already had on your podcast.
yeah, like who's
Uh,
anybody under the radar people should check out that you've found recently?
um, it's kind of funny that you asked that because I've recently started doing challenges towards really small streamers that I think deserve some like recognition
Yeah.
and maybe under the radar. And I found that a lot of content creators are phenomenal at Escape from Tarkov. I challenge them to get X number of kills on PMCs and scavs, and I'll
Yeah.
gift them some subs.
Yeah.
And I've lost a lot of money
Oh no.
in the past while challenging them.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, I made a video on it. We have people like Oh My Peaches and SS Robbie, which I had on my first episode,
Yeah.
that both, 5-6 gifted subs each. And then a few other people on my most recent one that will be coming out soon in a video. Lots of underrated people, and they're all very good at the video game.
Awesome. Fantastic. All right, well, we're done, man. But one question. Who's out of your crew are you calling out to get on here next?
Well, Ash called me out. I think we should finish the trifecta and call out Von Helsing.
All right, that
He's
sounds good.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal content creator. He's really been pushing the boundaries of what VoiP can do
Yeah.
with his most recent videos of being an in-game bard trader, and he's been doing things like that and hosting what was it? Tarkov's Got Talent. So he's really pushing the boundary, and I really admire what he's doing with his content. So
Yeah.
Von Helsing, you're up next, buddy.
Awesome. Well, Will, thank you so much. I really appreciate. I really enjoyed this conversation. You're a phenomenal guy. You're funny. It's absolutely a joy to speak with you.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me. I
No
know
problem.
that I've been nominated a few times, so I'm glad I finally got out of my comfort zone and took myself onto this podcast because I had such a great time with you.
Awesome. Thanks, man. You have a good one.